You for being you, Texas legislature. You have radicalized hundreds of thousands of us. And no matter what you do for the next 22 days, women and their allies are coming for you. Let's start down the line. Senator Campbell, you're an ophthalmologist, so I won't be making you the expert on reproductive health. We can give you all the children with chlamydia and herpes in their eyes since we don't have sex ed in this state. And Senator Hagar, you're about as helpful. You are about as, excuse me, this is my government, ma'am. I will judge you. I will judge you, ma'am. Is this counting against my time?
Yes, it is.
The senator talking against me?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, I will just go ahead and talk over her. And this is how big of a fraud I knew you were for being so proud of these proceedings all night. It's a low bar that you hold yourself to, that you simply allowed us to speak. And I will speak against an ophthalmologist who says, everyone on the internet can see what you're doing right now. This is a farce. The Texas legislature is a bunch of liars who hate women. These men
Our next witness is Gary Oldham. Is Gary Oldham here?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
So that they can tell us what to do with the inside of our bodies.
Can you please explain, Janet Colm, how the anti-choice bill was attached to the motorcycle safety bill?
Well, it's a complicated maneuvering having to do with some of the legislative rules, but basically it comes down to just another sneak attack on women's health, where they've gutted one bill, substituted this language, and then passed it through yesterday afternoon. It goes to the Senate, we think, next week.
And what's likely to happen in the Senate?
Well, it's, I don't know. We now have two bills. We have the one that the Senate snuck through. We have the one that the House snuck through. They're essentially the same, and almost certainly one of them will end up on the desk of Governor McCrory, and we are hoping that he will stick to his campaign promise not to sign into law any further restrictions on abortion. Of course, in North Carolina, one of the challenges that we face is that this law can also go into effect if he doesn't sign it. So we're almost certainly looking at increased restrictions on abortion providers.
Now, this is extremely significant, Janet. During the debate in his 2012 campaign, North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory said he would not support any further restrictions on abortion access when he was asked by the moderator. Let's go to a clip.
Speaking of women's health issues, this past year, state lawmakers passed the Women's Right to Know Act, a new law that added restrictions and some say made it more difficult for women to get abortions in North Carolina. If you're elected governor, what further restrictions on abortion would you agree to sign? I'll start with you, Mr. McCrory.
None.
So there you have it. That's the North Carolina Governor, Pat McCrory. Can you, Janet Colm, explain what is in this bill that's just passed the House?
Well, it's not totally clear. It really is a laundry list of all the abortion restrictions that they would hope to pass, including allowing the Department of Health and Human Services to increase the restrictions on abortion facilities. But it is not clear what those are, and the timetable for implementation is not clear. So one of our big objections is that this bill is just, at this point, very, very vague. There's no question, though, that they are going to increase restrictions and that it will cause severe hardship to the women who seek abortion in this state.
And given what's happened in Texas and now in North Carolina, your sense of whether there's a tipping point approaching in terms of state efforts to restrict choice among women?
Well, I thought you were going to be talking about the tipping point that's come in terms of the reaction to these laws, because that is what I see. We've certainly seen it in Texas, and we've certainly seen it in North Carolina, that this has just lit a fuse in the supporters of a woman's right to choose and all the other issues that are connected with this, including prenatal care and Medicaid expansion, which our state also cut off. Which means that 500,000 people in the state will not have access to insurance under the Affordable Care Act. So I think that all of these issues are connected, and they are infuriating the majority of North Carolinians.
Is this the Occupy Wall Street moment for the pro-choice movement? I mean, you yourself, you're CEO of Planned Parenthood. You got arrested on Monday.
Yeah. I think it's the Moral Monday moment for the pro-choice movement. We're really proud and happy to be in the coalition that is forming, spearheaded by the NAACP, and as Reverend Barber often says, we are all in this together. There, you know, from voting rights to health care, and unemployment and education. These are all issues that affect women and our families, and we're going to stand arm in arm.